What motivates you the most?
I don't know. I get a lot of satisfaction out of my family being proud of me. My brothers, I care what they think and how they feel, and I want them to be proud of what I'm doing. My mom finished dead last in the San Francisco Marathon. I don't remember when it was. She was probably 30 whatever years old. I mean, dead last on the little sheet when they do it. Her Mary Tillman, the last frickin' name, and they were actually tearing everything down when she finished. They're putting everything away, and so that says a lot about her. She's a real hardworking woman. Went and got her
Danny
degree.
committed herself to trying to, figure out exactly what happened to her son. She contacted a lot of people. She did a lot of work.
I'd take things to work, or I'd make phone calls when I didn't have students or when I had my break or at lunch. I'd call the medical examiner, the coroner. I'd call ballistic people, trying to find someone that could answer questions. I was just making calls all the time. Along the way, I'd encounter, people that were able to help us. And it's somewhere along the line, we got in touch with Stan Goff.
I was running a blog, I got a blog. Everybody got a blog nowadays. So I wrote something about the Tillman case. It was just, it was a commentary piece related to this whole perception management aspect of the war. So when we got to talking, she realized, that I'd been around. I'd been to Vietnam and Guatemala, Grenada, El Salvador, Peru, Colombia, Somalia. 3 assignments with Ranger units, 2 assignments with a Special Forces unit, 1 assignment with a counter-terrorist unit. So it wasn't just that I had experience in Pat's unit, it was also that I could sort of help them read the hieroglyphics in that special operations world. Because it is a culture.
Well, I think the first time that the family got a sense that we were being lied to was when we started looking at the documents.
They gave her the papers, but what they did was I think they tried to drown her, They wanted to give her so much that, no normal human being would like dig through all this paperwork and try to make sense out of it.
The Army handed over transcripts of every interview they conducted with Pat's platoon and their commanding officers. There were also radio communications logs, field hospital reports, terrain maps, an autopsy, and a detailed study of the light conditions that day. In all, it totaled over 3,000 pages of material on Pat's death.
But it's redacted. Every single name, half the actions, any references to places. You have to go this sort of painstaking reconstruction. It's like doing a very difficult crossword puzzle where you keep running around looking for just one word you can fit in there, and then you can sort of lock all the other stuff into it.
We tried to look at what was being said, and then we tried to piece together, okay, if they're saying this, then who might that be?
We would take a redacted name and we'd try to count the number of spaces that were in there to try to figure out whose last name was in there. And of course, by going over the same thing again and again with some names plugged in, we started to become familiar with aspects of it.
I want to make this very clear. When we initially heard of this fratricide and the fact that these soldiers in this vehicle had killed Pat, we felt very bad for them to have to live with this. We thought it was just some horrible, horrible accident. They were in a fog of war, and they were frightened, and it was too dark to see. But you're reading things in the documents that make you very suspicious. The more that we heard about the situation, it seemed much more like gross negligence. They asked one of the soldiers, did you positively identify your target? And he said, oh, I don't know. I thought everybody else did. I just wanted to be in a firefight. That doesn't sound like someone who's afraid. That sounds like someone who simply wants to shoot at something.
There's a sense that we can't discover meaning, we can't discover who we are, we have no real sense of identity until that's tested somehow. You know, that's tested against something that's real, that's tested in a context where life and death are real coexisting possibilities. All young infantrymen say, I want to be in a firefight. That's what makes them feel like they're fully fledged. You know, they can say, well, I've actually experienced combat.